Jared Flash Gordon joins me now as he gets ready to travel to Abu Dhabi and drop down to featherweight to fight Chris Fishgold July the 15th. Jared, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good, man. Nice to have you back on the show. And I understand you're now down in Florida. Tell me, what went behind the decision to leave Roufusport?
So my fiance living down here. She owns some businesses here, and I was flying back and forth from Milwaukee. We're both from New York originally, so I would go to New York, Milwaukee, Florida, and it was becoming too much. And when I was here, I would train at Sanford MMA with Henry Hook and those guys, and I decided to make the move full time here because my fiance needs me, and I also think the style of training is more suited to me and my style, and so I decided to make the full switch.
How are you adjusting down there? Do you feel pretty comfortable?
Yeah, I love it. I've known Henry for like 10 years. I used to train down here like when I was like 20. Before I only had like one pro fight at the time, and so coming back was super easy. He knows me, I know him, and everyone's awesome, and it's been great.
I know you made some really close relationships up there at Roufusport, most notably Belal Muhammad. You must be missing your boy.
Yeah, I actually just got off the phone with him. We speak like every day. He's like my second love. But yeah, he's a great dude. I love him. I made a lot of friends there. I mean, Felder's there. I've known Paul since regional scene. We've been friends for a long time, and I'm still close with Duke and the other coaches, and all my teammates that were over there, and everybody understands. My fiance's here, and it was putting strain on my relationship with her, and happy wife, happy life. So they understood.
Yeah, it makes sense. I do understand that Belal's father's store was looted recently. Can you tell me how are they doing? Are they back in a better spot, or?
Yeah, I mean, they cleaned it up real fast, and they're Palestinians, so they're used to oppression and not such great things happening. So they got through it, and not only did his dad's store get looted, but his 8 cousins who also own 8 different cell phone stores over there in Chicago, and they all got looted and burned down. So tough time for them, but they're going to get through it, and they're doing all right.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to get your thoughts on his upcoming matchup with Lyman Good. It's right around the corner. Stylistically, what kind of a fight do you think we're going to see?
Well, I think it's a style versus style type of fight. Obviously, Lyman, stand-up fighter, super athletic, super strong, explosive, very dangerous. I've known Lyman for a long time also. We also fought on the regional circuit together. We cut weight numerous times together, before our fights. And he's a great dude. Super respectful, super humble, really hard worker. And then you have Belal, who sucks. No, I'm just joking. I think, Belal's a really well-rounded fighter, and, he's not like starching guys, but I know he can. And, he could finish guys, but he knows also how to like win, he's got great wrestling. He's also super athletic and explosive, and he mixes everything together really well, his striking and his takedowns. And so I think, Belal just can't stand in front of him, and he's got to mix it up with him. And obviously Lyman's going to be looking to strike it and keep it standing. So, I mean, stylistic matchup. Definitely going to be a high-paced fight, and I think Belal has to, push the pace and take him down and get him tired. And same with Lyman, he's got to push the pace, stuff his shots, and try to keep it standing. So I think it's a great matchup, and we'll see what happens.
I'm looking forward to that fight. Another fight that I'm looking forward to is another guy that you know very well, Brendan Allen. He was initially supposed to fight Ian Heinisch. Now Heinisch is out, and a newcomer, Kyle Dacus, is stepping in. I just want to know, how good is Brendan Allen? We've seen him on the regional scene. He was a monster, and now here he is in the UFC. He's looking good. What's his ceiling? How good can he be?
I think he's got super, super high potential. He works really hard, and he's a killer. You know, he's not in there to dance around and win on points. He wants to finish you. So I've cornered him in some fights, and in LFA, and he's a killer, man. He hits hard, got smooth, good striking. He's got good get-ups. He knows how to hold you down. He knows how to ground and pound. He's got great submissions, and he's fought a lot of top-tier guys even before the UFC. So he's supposed to fight Ian, who's definitely a tough out, obviously. But now he's got a newcomer who I don't think he could sleep on, though, because he's really good, too. I think Brennan has the stand-up advantage for sure. But this kid's like a submission guy, so can't get lazy and complacent. You got to watch your neck with him. But I think I would imagine Brendan's probably a heavy favorite right now, especially on such short notice. So, but he's got super high potential. I think he just needs to maybe commit a little more to, because he trains at Roufusport and then he goes home. He's got a family, he's got a baby, he's got his own life, and which I understand. And he trains out there, but he's not training his team. So I think once he gets a couple more fights in the UFC, he'll have to, full time at Roufusport, or if he decides to go elsewhere. But I think he could definitely he will be a contender for sure, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now that you're down in Florida, as we talked about earlier, I was curious how the pandemic has affected your ability to get in there and train. Has this been a little bit more problematic trying to get the reps in?
It was at first, but we figured it out, and I've been training nonstop since the beginning of the pandemic. I haven't really missed a day besides my day offs on Sunday. But Florida's opened up again, and there has been an increase in cases, but they're also testing way more than they were in May and April. So of course the numbers are going to be higher, and they were expecting more spread once they opened up, because that's just naturally what's going to happen. More people around each other, there's going to be more spread. So I think you just got to be careful, and you got to be courteous, have some courtesy for other people, and just don't be in a bar kissing and hugging up on everyone, and stay healthy. And I think you should be all right for the most part.
Now, everyone that knows you knows about your past. You've been through some dark times. One thing I wanted to really ask you, man, was you have a strong belief in God. How do you lean on him when you're going through tough times, or if you have like a moment where you feel weak? Like, how does that relationship with him aid you in being the person you are today?
So like my belief of God has evolved over a long period of time, and in the last couple of months and weeks, even, it's really gotten strong. I had to rely on him to get sober, according to the program that I was in. I go to AA and NA meetings, and they say you have to have a higher power. So at first I was like, all right, I just need God to get sober. But then I looked, at my whole history growing up as a young kid, and a lot of the things that have happened to me and my family, and I've just come to the conclusion that he controls everything. So I just have faith, and when things aren't going well, and when things come up, I rely on him, and I have faith, and I put the work in also, and things have a way of working out. And even with my fighting career, I've had some ups and downs, and but everything happens on purpose. And I truly believe I needed my losses in fighting to happen in order for me to get where I am now. And that's a whole nother story, but I think that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be because of him.
Now, the last time we saw you inside of the octagon, it was November of last year, had that loss to Oliveira. Obviously a very skilled guy on the ground. Now you're dropping down to 45. Is there a reason for the drop to 45, or did you just feel like, at this point in your career, you'd have better luck at featherweight?
No, it's not a luck thing. It's just it's a size thing. You know, I'm 5'8" or 5'9", and I got a 68-inch reach. That's like a That's like a flyweight, and I'm not as big as these guys. All the guys, my last couple opponents are huge. All of them. I fought Oliveira, who's clearly taller and longer than me. I fought, or that was Dan Moret. He was like 6'1" with a way longer reach than me. I fought Diego Ferreira, who's like a gorilla. The guy's arms got like a 75-inch reach. He's my height, but he's huge. When he gets in the cage, he's humongous. Silva, who I clearly think I was the better fighter. I got injured and didn't go my way, but he was huge. The guy looks like a bodybuilder year round. And even Hakim Diaz, I fought him at 55, and I beat him pretty easily, but he was huge compared to me. So I just think, like, on the regional circuit and in the UFC, the guys that aren't as technically as good as me, I can win the technical battle. But when guys start getting really big and they're also really technically good, where do I find the advantage? So I was supposed to go to 45 for my fight with Silva, but when I moved to Roufusport, Duke didn't want me cutting the weight. So I was like, all right, I got to trust my coaches. I'll fight at 55. And I had some ups and downs. I truly think that I'm supposed to be at 45, and here I am, and the weight cut's going really well, and I feel great, and I truly think that if I beat Oliveira, I would have been ranked at 55. I think I would have probably been ranked. So then I'm stuck there. Now who do I fight after that? Makhachev, freaking Dan Hooker, Poirier. I mean, all these ranked guys that are way bigger than me. It's only an uphill battle. So I think I had to lose to him in order to make this move. So here I am.
As far as the weight cut goes, what do you weigh right now? And moving forward, how much weight will you have to cut to get down to 45?
Well, I'm a month out, and I'm eating tons of carbs, tons of food. I'm drinking like 2 gallons a day, and I'm waking up at like 165. So in 3 weeks, hopefully I'll be like 58, maybe 57 if I'm real strict and lucky, and then I'll cut 10 pounds in 4 or 5 days, which is nothing.
So who's going to be making the trip with you down to Abu Dhabi and Fight Island?
So I got Greg Jones, Kami Barzini, and Herbert Burns. Henry couldn't come. He's not going to corner Gilbert or Usman, so that was, and he has to be there 10 days. We have to be there 10 days before. So he didn't want to be around Gilbert and Usman during their weight cuts and their fight because he's not picking sides. So, which is fine though, because I'm not fighting a striker per se. I'm fighting more of a grappler. So I'm bringing Herbert, who's obviously a submission whiz, Kami, who's one of the wrestling coaches, and Greg, who's another wrestling coach. But I also have a strong relationship connection with them, and I think it's not necessarily what kind of coach you are, but what kind of connection you have with the fighter. So I think I'm in pretty good hands.
Yeah, no doubt. Jared, with the whole world on lockdown, there's no live sports outside of the UFC right now. I mean, you got the sports world, all of their eyes on you fighters right now. How excited are you to go down to Abu Dhabi and fight, in front of the whole world here?
I'm pretty excited, especially my first fight back at featherweight against a style fighter who I think is, stylistically is a great fight for me. I made a lot of adjustments. So I'm ready to. I truly believe I haven't shown even close to my full potential yet. I think in my first UFC fights, my first 2, I showed tons of potential against a 45er and a guy who was a 45er, and I dominated those fights. So I think I'm back where I'm supposed to be, ready to go on a tear, and I think this is my time now.
Yeah. Now, you said you like this fight stylistically. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised? Do you have like a really significant advantage in one specific area here in this fight?
So Chris, is a gritty, tough guy. He's got good submissions. He's got a lot of submissions. I don't think the quality of his opponents were, close to the opponent that I'm going to be, especially on the ground. So, and he seems to fade in the later rounds, where I've been kind of, I think, known for pushing the pace in my cardio, and I like to come forward. So, I think it's going to be, a fun fight to watch, and I think I see myself getting on top and winning on top. I don't know. I'm not going to call it around, but I picture myself really pushing the pace, getting him tired, showing off some of my new striking skills, and doing what I do best, which is on the ground.
Nice. Well, I got to tell you, as a fight fan, I'm excited to see you back inside the cage. You're always must-see TV when you step in there, and I really believe this drop to 45 is the best thing for you moving forward. I think you're really going to make a run here at featherweight. I appreciate the time, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you. If you want to plug your social media or anyone you want to thank, the floor is yours.
Thanks to Sanford MMA, all my coaches over there, Instagram, Jarrell/Gordon, and my Twitter is
J/Gordon MMA.
There you go. That's about it.